Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I will show you how to make an ARF trooper helmet out of EVA foam. This video will be part 1, and in the second video I will show you the reworking process and the painting of the helmet. First, a brief explanation of the cut variations. Straight cuts are just 90-degree cuts. Inward cuts are at an 45-degree angle following in the foam, and outward cuts are at a 45-degree angle away from the foam. Unless I say so, every foam thickness will be 8 mm. We will start with the dome and the visor and use these 6 parts. Before tracing the templates on the foam, I recommend to heat and flatten it to be as precise as possible. Trace the templates on the foam with a felt tip pen. Remember to differ between the straight, dotted and dashed lines. Make sure to cut out these areas and trace it on the foam as well. Then use a sharp box cutter to cut out each part of the templates. For smaller areas, I will use a smaller knife. Cut these squares out and glue them back in halfway. Be careful while gluing and don't rip the foam open at the cutted areas if you need to bend it. This piece will be the back bend of the dome. Now we will start with the dome, and before gluing we will heat the pieces to bend them into shape. Just bend the foam as long as it's warm to make it a better dome shaping. Remember to bevel both areas here until the first registration mark on both halves and until the second mark on only one half to form the sharp shaped tip of the dome. Now apply the glue and let it dry for a few minutes before connecting. We will start with closing the gaps of both sides. Just orientate on the markings and work your way to the end. If you want, you can fix the gaps with paper tape to prevent it from opening again. Now we will connect the two halves to one whole dome. Again, orientate on the markings and fix it with paper tape. It may look a bit flat now, but after gluing on the back vent piece, it will form into the right shape. Simply connect it even with the dome piece. It may need a bit of bending to connect it right, but this is necessary to form this nice shape. For the visor, as always, work your way through the end and first connect the middle and upper piece to form the curved shape. After that, connect the bottom piece. Now we have the right side of the visor. Do that also for the left side and connect both halves at the front. You can again use paper tape to fix the gluing spots. After connecting at the front, connect the two halves at the back. Now we have the whole visor piece and can connect it with the dome piece. For that, we glue the dome piece on the beveled sides of the visor piece. To work clean and prevent the pieces from unwanted connection, I use a sheet of paper and just shield the parts I don't want to connect yet from each other. Take your time and work your way to the back, pull the paper out bit by bit and glue the whole dome on the visor piece. And this is what you will get. These two parts will make the eyes and the piece that goes around your head, and you just have to mirror the pieces on these sides. Make sure to trace the top piece of the eyes on the foam as well. It's not necessary to trace it on the front side, but definitely on the back side, because on this line we will make a V-cut to bend the foam. For the V-cut on the back side, cut a V-shaped line through the half of the foam thickness. Now we can bend the foam easier here and glue it to stay in place. I will use a hot glue to fix this area, but you can also use contact cement or super glue. Now we will cut out the big piece that will surround your head. On this little triangle piece we will also need to make a V-cut and glue it with hot glue. To keep it in shape until the glue cools down, I will fix it with paper tape. The eyes will be glued on like this. You can mark the overlapping areas with your pen. Now we will make the nose part at the front of the helmet. For the base of the nose we will glue 8mm foam and 6mm foam together. Again, trace the inner lines onto the foam, then cut it out and round up the curved area with a rotary tool. Now glue the eyepiece onto the nose base so that it's even with the inside. Then glue the eyes and base together with the large piece. After that we get a nice round helmet base. You can now stretch and bend some areas for better fitting. Next we make the nose piece that goes onto the base. For that we will glue several layers together. The base of the piece will be 8mm foam. Then cut away the round top of the template at the straight line and take two pieces of 6mm foam to create foam with 12mm thickness. The details of the template will be out of 5mm foam and glued on the 12mm piece. Before gluing, cut away the inner lines and circles. Then just glue on the 17mm thick piece onto the 8mm piece and cut away the excess material. For the banded piece above the nose, we will cut out a curved piece of 6 mm. The square details are made of 2 mm foam. Now we will bend the top part over the middle piece of the nose. Simply glue the two nose pieces together, even with the back sides. After that, glue the nose on its base within the marked area. Now it's time for the marriage of the helmet base and the dome. We will put glue on the edges of the visor piece and approximately 1 to 1.5 centimeters away from the edge of the helmet base. And of course on the beveled edge of the eyepiece. And again, I will use a sheet of paper like before to glue the pieces together without messing it up. Now we will make us markings where to put the glue to connect the visor with the base and finally glue it on. Until this, I'm very happy with how the helmet comes out. The next step is the upper side tube around the back of the helmet. I mirror each part separately and then glue the top, middle and bottom part together. Before gluing the front part of the top piece, we need to cut off at the dashed line and transform the edges into inward cuts. Then we glue the piece on the middle part of the tube. Now it's time to glue the whole tube on the back of the helmet. For the bottom tube we need these parts of 5 mm foam, and before gluing we bend the foam into shape. Simply close the gaps and fix with paper tape. After that, connect the two halves together. This little piece will be like a cover at each end of the tube. Just glue it in with a distance of 5 mm from the edge. For a better support you can make more of these pieces and glue them in on the inside of the tube. I did that but messed up the connection of the bottom tube to the helmet base, and I had to fix that, which you can see in the second part. This little 6 mm piece will be the connection of the visor and the upper side tube. Just glue it in between the two pieces. Now it's time for the bottom tube to be glued on the helmet. Connect it even with the bottom edge and try to make it as straight as possible. Now you can see that I messed up the connection a little bit. It's kind of wavy and I had to make it even again. This 2 mm piece will come left and right between the nose and the bottom tube. The detail knob at the front is a slice of a 20 mm foam dowel with a 15 mm foam dowel on top. Just glue it in the middle of the nose part. I also added little slices of 10 mm foam dowels on the bottom tubes and 2 mm squares for detail. And that's it! Now we have a raw ARF Trooper helmet. The second part will be about the filling, priming and painting of the helmet. Thank you for watching, please like and subscribe and see you in the next video.